So, quick demo with the thermal imaging. You should be able to see me in there. So I'm the orange, red, and yellow guy. Sorry, fellas, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the video. Works really well on a bridal party, just saying. But you're not a bridal party. The wife hates that joke. I'm just going to put that out there, too. But anyway, so the cool thing is obviously the yellow and the white are going to be the hottest thing inside the frame. So what are we looking for? The blue and the black. Hopefully they're going to take shape or start moving on their own. So the blue and the black areas, again, very cool stuff. But in case we have a hard time watching it when I get you your video back, there's a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen, giving us the coldest point in the frame at that particular moment. It's helping to direct your eye when you're watching the video of where the coldest spot is actually going to be. Is the ghost always going to be underneath that cold spot? Not necessarily. It might be somewhere else in the video. I've seen it all the time. Does this capture something every single night? It does not. But if we're not recording, we won't capture it. That's the whole point of it. We want to get as much footage as we possibly can, but as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So throughout the night, I'm going to be doing a few starts and stops with this, just because we don't want to lose any footage. So I think, Cynthia, you were pretty excited about this, were you not?
Yeah.
So, Cynthia, you're going to be holding this horizontal all night long. Again, the starts and stops are on the orange square. So when you do restart it, I'll always give you the cues. I'm pretty good at it. So when I tell you to restart it back up again after a stop, you want to make sure you're in the same position, horizontal, before you hit the button. Because what happens is I splice all those videos together, and then I send them over to YouTube, and YouTube doesn't know the flippies. Otherwise, we're going to have a sideways video, and then I got to give out your phone number. It's never fun. So, again, lots of fun on that one. Love that device. The next camera, I like to put at least one in each type of device in every single group. This is a nice even split because it's 4 and 4. So, quick demo with this crazy Ghostbustery looking thing, right? So, you guys should not be able to see me in a very small black screen. It should be pretty dark in there. So now, you should see an entire purple screen. I just illuminated 10 infrared lights. So basically, these are lights we cannot see with our own eyes. The hope here is that we're going to be able to capture something we would not normally be able to see with our own eyes. So we are going to be using an accompanying item with this tonight because of the size of the group. It's going to really make this thing pop. I can't wait for you guys to see it. So with that said, Evan? So again, cameras, now that they're both out. And I'm only doing that because you can't really speak back to me. So we're going to have a great commentary coming from Jillian on the video. Sorry, I'm going to tease you all night because you can't talk back. So videos, now that both cameras are out, we're going to be in some spaces where there's going to be obviously some parked cars, people walking by. People do not like to be filmed other than us because that's what you all signed up for. And people don't like their cars to be filmed. If I do like an Andy coming from Toy Story, Jillian, I definitely want you pointing that camera to the ground because yours is a little bit more conspicuous. Basically, yeah, just right at your side. There's a handle on there, right where your right hand is. You can grip it, yeah, perfect. And then, of course, Cynthia, you're playing with a cell phone, so by all means, just act like you're playing with a cell phone. Just people don't like their cars to be filmed, and it's not.
Right.
Just imagine if it, your vehicle.
I get it.
The next set. This is the Neuralizer.
Am I cold?
Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything.
Hot woman.
Lasers. So lasers shine up on Jillian's camera like a Christmas tree. So we're going to be using, obviously these lasers with Jillian's camera. So we're going to have a secondary person accompanying her. The cool thing about lasers is that you can't see the lasers till something passes through it. The hope here is that we're going to be able to capture something going through it in a quick grid. In the event that we actually capture that, I'll be able to give you the screenshot from the video and show you exactly what we caught. We're going to be using two different styles. The second one is red squares. So red squares, if we capture something here and I can get the still from it, I can put that in 3D software and give you a full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements. How cool is that? I've had this guy for about a year. The software, the 3D software, hasn't been able to take anything that I've caught so far. It doesn't mean that I haven't caught anomalies in the past. So how these are used, Miss Carol, is you're going to actually keep the lasers pretty close to you. The best way to do it is to keep the laser on your toe, and that way you know you're not going to go any further. So right now you don't need to keep them on all the time. This one has a button you have to hold on, just so you know how that one works. The red one, okay, perfect. The red one has a toggle switch, so once you flick it on, it's on. So be careful where it goes. It's the same thing, keep it on your toe, so that way you know not to go too far. So, and you'll be able to feel like where the hole is for the laser. whatever you want to do. This is your tour, sweetheart, not me. I do this every night.
Wait, what 3D software do you use?
I can't honestly remember the name of it.
SolidWorks, Inventor.
It's been about like 9 months since I had to pull it up, so I'll be honest, I can't remember.
She does it. That's what she does for a living.
Oh, amazing. So it's probably some free something that I found that I was able to...
Okay, I was just wondering.
That's pretty cool that you're into that.
Yeah, it's a cool job.
Spirit boxes. We're going to be using several different types of spirit boxes tonight. Spirit boxes are going to be a way for us to communicate with the dead. So, this is the game.
How does that turn the song up?
Yeah, just be careful because lasers can set off car alarms. Just so you know. No pressure at all. No pressure at all. So back to spirit boxes, because we're going to be using a lot of them. So with these, they're going to sweep through the FM radio stations at a quick rate. In your TV shows, it's normally the white noise they give you, and then they hear some blurber in the middle of it, trying to convince you of the same thing, bringing you down in real time. Only mine are slowed down on purpose. Those little disembodied voices they use on television, those are a rarity in the field in real life. Just so you know. I capture about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 7 of those per year, so it's not very many. I'm not going to send them to me. There's another method we're going to use. This is slowed down. So the radio chatter is going to come through. The song lyrics, the DJs, the commercials, whatever you hear, I want to know whatever commercial you heard. If it said buy a Kia today, I want to know that it said buy a Kia today. So you're going to have an earbud in, so you're going to be the only one to hear it in real time. This one's going to record, which means you all are going to get the recording back tomorrow morning. I'll be writing down whatever Chris hears in real time, so you can have those notes upon my findings on top of that tomorrow morning when I get you your data back. So it's already on record. I don't want earbuds back because your earwax is gross, no offense. But the only button you need to worry about is the volume. There's a wheel right here at the very top.
Okay.
It's not the button. So just undo the twist tie to your earbud. Most people just use one, and then control the volume at your will. You can't mess up the recording.
Okay, cool.
I use 2 of those.
I have to put my glasses on.
I thought you were going to say you had to put your glasses on to hear it.
No.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wrong sense, buddy. We use 2 of these, but this one's not going to record. So, with that said, I think I'm going to try you out on this one. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? You up for this? Good. This is not an easy job. It's like I've already passed me over once. Just give me a couple. So, again, your volume wheel is right here, and then just undo the twist tie. Spirit box does not work where we actually have to listen to it. It will give us terms and phrases in the middle of the screen from time to time. In the paranormal field, we would call this an audio. So basically, there's going to be a word right there, and it's going to save them all to a list. The reason why I love this so much is because there's timestamps next to every single term that's in that list. So last night we had over 100 terms and phrases pop up. Sounds like a lot, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is a phone app. 80% of what comes out of this thing is garbage. It's not going to mean a damn thing to the location of where we are or a person in history or anything like that. It's the other 5 to 20% that's going to be so focused on one of those 3 things that hopefully we'll be able to tie it to something else that's happening in real time. So, Miss Ann, you're going to hang on to this, and I will come to you when I want to see the word list. So if you show me every single word that pops up, we're going to be out here until 4 in the morning. Just so you know. Because again, 100 terms, they're going to keep on coming.
So I won't call you, you'll call me.
I'll call you. You got it. And who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, right?
I don't know, you didn't give us a good name yet.
Yeah.
That's just cycling through.
EMF meter. These are pretty much a must-have. So on your TV shows, they may use these because they're really sensitive. I use them to help debunk things. So I want to know if there's a parking meter.
I don't want to split it apart.
Cell phone going off, something like that.
Because otherwise it'll be like down in here. Or, oh wait, you want it split apart so you can listen?
All I want to know about this thing is going to measure electromagnetic fields. So you don't need to turn your phone off or anything like that. All I want to know is what colors do you see, and then you and I will try to debunk what's going on around us before we can say that it's something actually paranormal. It's supposed to make a little buzzing sound, but it's not loud enough for us to hear it out here in real time. See how I kind of joshed you up like that? Watch this. I'm going to make that smile get even bigger. So you're going to be my multitasker. So this has one of those built into it.
There.
So it's only a digital format. Anything above 2.5, I want to know what's going on. That would be Miss Barbara's second green dot, so that way you and I can see what's actually happening. The bottom is ambient temperature, so that means if Cynthia finds something on her camera, you and I can debunk it or prove it pretty quickly based on the yellow probe at the top.
Can you hear it? It's just fading in and out.
Called a
Some
REM
static.
or motion sensor. If something gets close to this antenna by not touching it, it's going to go up. The closer it gets, the higher pitch it's going to go. So,
I hear a
we'll
high
talk more
pitch.
about that at the
Well,
first
that's
location.
his thing. He's doing an
I
EMF
can't hear
meter.
anything.
Really?
Up there.
Well,
I
yeah.
can hear
But,
that a little bit.
yeah, I had to turn it way up.
See, we can put
All right,
that
guys,
in
go
the
have fun.
pocket.
Let me know what happens.
There, now
Got
I'll
made it
hang
back
on.
much later. Appreciate you enough for
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say you unloaded.
I know. There's more in there, don't worry. Remember, I go to 10 people. All right, so let's talk about why we started here. Drink the water first, because y'all are going to make me talk quite a bit. Isn't it my job to talk? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yes.
Big John's Tavern behind me is the reason why we start here. Of course, it's haunted. That's why we start here. So, this was actually named and owned by a previous football player, Big John Kennedy, back in 1947. I'm sorry, 1955. He played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm telling you the history or anything about a location of where we are, I will do my best to slow down on specific keywords for all of the spirit boxes. So, yeah, I got everybody's devices. Okay, just want to make sure. Hang on. I got a new device that I haven't pulled out, but that's okay. We got enough going on.
What is?
It's another type of spirit box,
Oh.
but that's okay. You and I would chit chat. Like, I'll probably show it up in the last spot. Maybe I'll use it. How about that? So with that said, I will always try to slow down. I'm from the north, so I talk fast, which is half the reason why I record everything for you. So that way you can play back the recording at your own speed. But anyway, he used to sit in the back of this bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. And one night, two guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. He has a bartender throw them out. They leave pretty angry. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John sees what's going on. He slams down his beer. He gets up and goes over to the two cadets and just starts pounding these guys into the floor, just beating the hell out of them. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets hit in the neck. It grazes him, and the bullet lands behind him in the wall. John gets up after being shot. He's the only one been shot, by the way. He goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor, and ambulance. So the irony of the story is you don't mess with Big John if you're asked. Second reason is that normally you think of a haunted building, you think of a death or some kind of raised emotion in this place. Obviously, there's no death that I just told you about. What's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. This is a renovation of Big John's, so even if they filled in that bullet hole, John's blood is still in this building because it grazed his neck. So people that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. This is your heated warning. We are going ghost hunting with real paranormal activity, fingers crossed, because I can't make the ghosts do anything because they're not on the payroll. However, if anybody feels any of those things, I need to know immediately so we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. It's always safety first with me, just so you guys all know. I've seen it in the past. We'll talk more about that later on. Ann's looking at me like, what the hell did we just sign up for? So I'm going to move on. That's probably the scariest thing I will tell you all night long, and that is the honest truth, because it deals with your own health. If you didn't already know, because some of you are not locals, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. Every tour guide in town talks about it because it's an anomaly for us because we're the East Coast. We're not supposed to have any earthquakes over here. Big John's building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building behind me also wraps around the front on the East Bay side. They say apparently a piece of that broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, killed them, and that you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. I say apparently and allegedly a lot with that story because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue, so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour like I just mentioned again. So, is everybody ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. We're going to go this way.
We actually check that as an
Oh, really?
hurricane. Oh, okay. I thought you meant
Yeah.
I just wanted to adjust the volume.
And the artist is there.
Carriage barn. Yep.
smell something.
You guys smell those. Down here 7 nights a week. I don't smell anything. So this is the big red barn lot. So this is where I get to show my large groups like this how to use the devices even further. Notice my voice dropped a little bit. There's no glass inside those windows. They can hear us. We will not be shining any lasers on there. And it's another reason why we use earbuds with these spirit boxes at this point, because the horses don't like white noise. So again, they like to kick that metal wall and scare the bejesus out of all of us. So I stopped doing that and said, okay, we're going to start using earbuds. So with that said, the history here is very, very simple. First off, for those of you that are not local, this is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. So again, they are inside the building. The history that I have of this building is this is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's all I got, 1860s to 1920s. So, very simple, right? It's just so I can get right into your devices again. Let's talk about those spirit boxes. I lost track of how many we actually have out here, but at least 3 of them that I can think of. So, spirit boxes, this is not a Ouija board, this is not television. This is not, is somebody here? Because if Chris hears no, that means somebody's here, right? So we are not going to be asking yes or no questions all night long. Some of these spaces I will give you impromptu questions that you can use. If you want to go rogue, just make sure it's things that we can prove. For example, in a space like this that would normally have brand new people like you, try questions out that you already know the answers to. If somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we are looking and listening for the color red. Most of you, with any kind of noisemaker of a spirit box, are, you're waiting for song lyrics and DJs that convey messages back to us. The word red might not be available to those song lyrics and DJs. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those 3 things are specifically red. I would take that as an acceptable answer, just because it was a direct response. Most of the night, I am going to require that there's at least 2 happenings going on with your devices, whether it be 2 from the same thing or 2 different devices, to be able to verify what's actually happening. For example, let's say Ann's word list has the word art on it. Probably doesn't right now, is my guess. But then Chris hears the number 40 on his spirit box. So neither one of those terms mean anything individually, but Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You see how we're going to be putting all of these clues together throughout the night? And when I'm going through your data tomorrow morning, this is not going to be a full-blown message of like, hi, my name's Big John. I'm Big of 1947 New York Giants. We're going to be looking for little tiny clues to be able to verify what's actually happening. So again, some things tonight, I'm going to say that's pretty vague, or that's a great clue. Let's see if something else pops up. I will withhold information purposely so that all of you actually have a genuine experience tonight. So again, when I withhold information and you guys hear something specific, like if you had the word art, I'm not going to tell you what it means until I get the number 40. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, perfect. So I think everybody on the spirit boxes kind of gets a gist on how those are going to work. Let's go with that thermal imaging camera next. So go ahead and point it at me. So you're going to try to keep basically one of us in view at all times throughout the night. The reason being is because it's going to give us that array of color. Point it at the barn at this point. See how the barn's going to change color when a person leaves the view?
Yeah.
It should have went to all red.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, we're going to get that array of color because we're going to be the warmest things out here. If somebody is over 100 degrees, you got to let me know so I can kick them off the tour. So Evan, if you get sick, it's all you, buddy. But with that, the other thing you're going to try to do is keep the sky out to view. Some of these spaces, that's going to be impossible. The reason I'm asking for that is because the blue dot will default to the sky because there's no surface. So again, it's looking for surfaces only.
Okay.
The slower the movements on your camera, obviously the better. So is this a real-time moment thing? Not always. If you happen to see something, great, investigate it. Let's find out what's going on. We'll get obviously, Ms. Victoria over there with the thermal reader and kind of see what's actually happening. Jillian, so 2 of you are going to be using your devices together in certain spaces only, obviously, just because it's going to be spaces are safer than others. So go ahead and point one of your lasers at the ground for me. Let's get the gist of what you guys are going to be using. Jillian, you're not going to be pointing the camera down. Where do you know?
Like a radio dial thing
You're
that
going to
I've
take
heard
2
called.
steps back. Okay, perfect. Right there.
not
You're literally going to be shooting through it because we're looking for something here.
different.
Right? Does that make sense now? So if you can, try to keep whatever the base is, wherever the grid that we can see, in view, so that way we have a point of reference of what's actually happening. You're at the perfect distance, right at the tip of your toe. I don't know what's fluttering through here, but there's like little dust particles, something like that. There's no way that that's a lot of dust or a lot of bugs. So those are just the way it's actually right here. Does anybody else see like the little shimmering going on inside this light? Yeah. So I don't know what that is, but normally that would be something I would actually look at. It's got to be some type of bugs or dust in the system stepping back and forth. So it's too small for me to actually the time. Don't cross the streams. Another Ghostbusters joke, I know, it works. You want to go ahead and make them side by side.
Oh,
The
okay.
reason why is because now you've created two giant triangles of grid, and now we have double. Do you see where I'm going? So if
Yeah.
you put them together, it's just one space.
Yeah.
But if you use them together, obviously you have a much bigger space that you can work. So
Got it.
I think that about covers everybody. Anybody else have any questions on the spirit boxes? We're going to get into that Ren Con Victoria just at the next space, just so you know. All right, I say we go deep dive much further than ponies and football players. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
go.
let's do it. We're going to go this way.
You think you're here,
And so you actually look really familiar to me.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if
We
we
are
met
local.
before. Yeah, I know you're local. It's just like as soon as I met with you, I was like, oh, she looks familiar.
Huh. I worked in
I
architecture.
used to be a tour guide, but that was like 20-something years ago.
Well, I've only lived in Charleston for 5. So that wouldn't
Oh, okay,
matter.
yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
That would be not.
Yeah. I don't know if you and I have met in some other.
We must look like a lot of people.
Do you guys get that a lot?
I get it a lot. Oh, you look just like my friend, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Sorry, not me.
All right. Oh, I see that. It's okay. We're gonna shut that guy off. Turn that one back on. So the reason why I leave the night vision off, there's a night vision mode on there too, is it just draws attention from the other tours. And they're always poking around with you guys, like, what's he got you doing now? You know, what kind of instruments has he got? You know, so they're always trying to, it's a cutthroat business out here, I'm sure you know that, right? But anyway, so welcome to another beautiful space of Charleston. You're in another parking lot, good for you. So if you guys don't know where to park by the time I'm done with you, I can't help you, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. This place used to be something. What was this place? This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. So it actually sat in the front of this space. That's where the mansion was, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over here and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So I like to give you the layout first, just so you guys know kind of where you're standing. Spirit boxes, I will not be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, right? Like what we did over there at the Red Barn. You will get the answers from your spirit boxes. So who the heck were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Do you guys see why I look for secondary clues now? We need to know who the hell we're talking to. We can get a Charles, but we have no idea which one it is. But anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution of South Carolina. Pretty big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all. So we're going to move on. If I don't bring it up, something else normally will on a spirit box. I know, I should leave it out on purpose, right? But no, can't do that. Can't do this. Yeah, I did. With that said, Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. Just so everybody knows. So if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, it will not be like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards when you're listening for numbers, just so you guys know. The reason I bring this up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. It's a pretty big age gap for colonial times, just so you guys know. But anyway, she married him because her father, over in England, thought he was dying, and he wanted to see all of his children one last time. He was trying to bring them all home to England. Well, Eliza didn't think he was dying. It's 1744, so she decided to get married. And you didn't marry anybody in 1744 for a green card or citizenship because we're not even a country yet. So she was correct in her father not dying right away. So he didn't die right away, and he starts sending gifts to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes a blue jeans blue. That's how we still use it today. You're actually wearing it right now. She didn't know what to do with these seeds when she got them, so she had to learn from her slaves on how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here. So, sorry locals, but the tourists don't always know that. They think South Carolina, it's super hot all the time. But at any rate, Jillian's like, yep, it sure is. But anyway, once she figured it out and experimented with this indigo here, she moves it to a plantation in Mount Pleasant on Snee Farm. I'm sure you guys know where that is. And she calls her father up and says, hey Dad, the rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with this indigo. We now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is something absolutely unheard of. During Women's History Month, I thrive on this story, just so you guys know. So, that's the business of Eliza. I want to get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza, back to back from Charles. Gentlemen, it's either really smart or really stupid, depending on how you look at it. Now, ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. That's all I'm going to tell you. So when you guys are listening in on your spirit boxes, or you want to figure out which Eliza we're dealing with, ask the maiden name. The mansion's not here anymore. You can ask what happened to it. Obviously, if you get an answer, you can then ask what year that happened. Notice none of these questions are yes and no questions. The children, I told you there's at least one. So there are more. You can ask how many and basically what their names are, but that's about it. The reason I say that is because there's a tragedy among those children. If we poke the bear, all activity will stop. Now, I haven't seen anything go off with Barbara's device yet. Normally, we have a little bit of something going on by now.
You're walking on the sidewalk. I had a 2.1 over there.
It's probably from the parking meters along the road.
Walked on it, but nothing spiked on it. So.
Fair enough. But normally when we're on sidewalks with parking meters, it's usually debunked automatically because I can't prove it otherwise. So especially that's too low. Remember, 2.5. You're at 2.1.
Just letting you know. I knew 2.1.
So, children, remember, how many, what their names are, leave it alone. As far as Eliza's death, that's where she's really open. You can ask her how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and what U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. These are questions that I have my folks ask every night. So again, if you go rogue, you can go rogue, just make sure it's something we can actually prove. As far as anything dealing with the slaves, there are no records of the Pinckney slaves at all, so I cannot prove any of it. Do not go after feelings, go after names, numbers, anything very, very specific that we can actually tie an article to or some kind of documentation. It's usually what we're after here. So again, it's not, hey, how'd you feel about your marriage? You're not going to hear happy because we can't prove the fact that she was happy, right? She could have said she was happy and been completely miserable. But we are going to spread out in this lot. We're lucky enough that it's a weekday, so there's only going to be a handful of cars in here. So we're not going to go near vehicles at all. We definitely do not go in between them. Most of these cars down here belong to employees of people that work down here late at night. So if somebody's going to their vehicle, I'll do it Andy's coming or act casual. So Jillian and Cynthia, that would be you. You're basically going to go either in the opposite direction or do exactly what you're doing right now. She's like, hey, look at me. I'm just standing here. I got a camera. I'm not filming anything. So super great. I am going to start your camera, but I have to work with Victoria first so that way she knows how to use that REM pod. But everybody else, let's spread out. I will start taking notes from all of you once I start bouncing around and get these two going. So let's get your video camera recording. Just so you know, the button for it is the old round one. So I'll wait for the right. You just tap it once and you start to see the timer. So, and that's the and stop. Right away. cameras go or some of the devices. So as far as the one you have, it's probably the one that I don't follow up with as much because this is more about we're going to review it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not always an in the moment type
Right,
feel. That's why I was
right.
surprised. I'm like, the birthday girl wants the Fleer? Okay, we'll go with it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you guys can swap up in your party. Just keep the devices in your party. Just
Okay.
saying.
Okay, great, thanks.
I had a 6'8" over here. But now it's gone. Right around here.
Where's Chris?
This one all the way to the right.
Went all the way to red?
Yeah.
Nice. So you've already tapped out. Yours only goes to 25.
I went all the way to red. Oh yeah. I can't see anything.
Again, you can listen in with Chris if you want. Like just put the other earbud in. I know you said you don't like
Yeah.
those crazy noise boxes, but you might be able to actually help him.
Yeah, okay.
So
Okay,
verification
yeah,
is
I
always
could-
great too.
I could do that.
Anything else popping up on yours?
Chris,
Yeah.
he wants me to be your partner.
Oh, okay. Oh. Wait. Okay.
I can hear it this time.
Can you hear it? I could turn it up if you need to. Let me turn it up.
I hear a little bit now, but wah, wah. Oh yeah. What is that? Like a radio?
Yeah, so it's phasing in and out with the radio sounds, but you want to listen for, like, when you hear the radio talking or words singing, listen to what they're saying. So it sounds like top radio.
Can you turn it just a little bit more?
Up. Oh, I just heard. You have to wait. That's what someone just said. You have to wait. Music. Celine Dion? No. 102.5. That's Darius Rucker music. So, Eliza, what was your last name before you were married? Can you say what your last name was? What about one of your children's names? Did something happen to them?
Eliza, let me introduce myself. My name is Cynthia, and this is my husband, Chris. And we're just here to find some information on you.
Yeah, we want to. Oh, he just said turn around. Wait, no, you got to go this way because you're on the inside. It said turn around. Well, it sounded like some guy saying turn around. Were you behind us? There's no way you could do it? Someone said you were behind us. What about a name? Can you give us a name? Are you getting any spikes on the meter?
In the middle to the back of the car.
Huh.
Went to red.
Wow. And those are electromagnetic fields, right? Is that one? God, this thing is so loud in my ear.
I can hardly hear it.
I know, you can
I'm
hardly
like
hear
deaf.
it.
Really?
I got it like cranked up. It is kind of weird though, with all the
So now that
sounds.
you two are listening together, are we getting anything?
Yeah,
He
there were
heard
some.
turn
Like turn. You know, like it was the DJ voice. It
Okay.
said turn around,
Okay.
So we both
and
turned
then
around.
so we were just. This is loud, and then something has said this is less. I don't.
Yeah. So what happens with that is it's just generating new files. Because the files for a GoPro are just giant. So at 4 gigs, it just starts again. I splice them all together. So you have one video. You got this. This is Les. Is that what
Bad
you're-
girls. Sure, bad girls. Donna Summer.
Yeah, right. Look at Victoria just camping out over there. That's awesome. Let me go follow up on her, make sure she's okay. Normally when somebody's on the ground, I gotta follow
Yeah,
up.
no problem. Can you? Can you tell us another name? Can you tell us the name of one of your children? Maybe, where are they? Are they in here? Are they in part of your house that we're standing in right now?
All right, Evan.
This is where your house used to be.
Let me get you guys some answers. Go ahead and kill your lasers.
Okay.
Jillian, go ahead and stop your video. That's the circle. Button all the way to your right. Perfect. And then, Cynthia, you can stop your video too. So, hit that square. Get us some footage while we're in here. We're going to actually stop right up here. Oh, boy. I don't like to interrupt.
Where I just heard, I love this, Ghost Hunters. I I swear to God.
You did?
We're gonna stop here, everybody.
That's what it sounded like. That was weird.
Really cool.
Hang on, Chris, I gotta write it down. I love this. Those times.
Did you hear? He just heard that.
What?
He just heard. I love Chris. He just heard these ghost hunters.
Oh,
Funny?
yeah. It is weird. I'm just getting weird on things.
What do you
But he told me not to tell him until he told me.
That's a good one.
Yeah, this one's grief.
Yeah.
Grief? Grief?
Grief.
Well,
Again, pretty vague.
yeah, I guess. Grief.
What is it?
That doesn't.
Alright, so she's going to give you a chance to go around. So this is a quiet area. Obviously, somebody's in that room. So this is Lodge Alley Inn. You're on the side of Lodge Alley. When we crossed that last crosswalk, we crossed over to the original Charlestown walls. Jillian, let's get some footage. Just tap that little circle button. And again, point your cameras one way or the other so that we can view up or down the alley. Either way. So you're actually good going up that way. Jillian, you're perfect. So, with that said, the reason I asked for names is because people lived here. These two buildings that we're looking at right now, they weren't here. Little tiny shotgun houses. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. It's pretty easy to come by, but when you're looking for it, you have to kind of figure out what's going on. It's from the building behind us. That's what I would call a rhythm because it's just steady. Yeah, good call. But anyway, the names I commonly get down here are Benjamin and John. It sounds like very common names, but when I say people live down here, I'm only talking like 2 to 6 people at a time. Benjamin and John both lived down here in 1801. Do I have anything significant about Lodge Alley in 1801? No, other than I get the same exact names every 6 to 7 weeks. Unfortunately, during this tour, I've restarted the loop on week 1 as of 2 days ago. Because again, I can't pinpoint it. Was I expecting Benjamin and John to show up? Not really, but I never know. If they break the loop, they break the loop. So there were 4 different Johns that lived down here in a 60-year time span. So how do I know which John it's actually referring to? We get the same last name over and over and over again. Johnson. Yes, his name was John Johnson. So we do get that quite a bit. What's interesting is what you're standing on. This is why I think it's actually occurring here. So you're standing on Belgian blocks. These blocks are made straight of granite. You seem like you're pretty hip to the paranormal lingo. Limestone is said to stir up some activity because it comes straight from the earth. Granite also comes straight from the earth, and these have been here for a couple of 100 years. So they say when rock actually stays in the same space for a long period of time, it hangs on to the consciousness of memories and replays it back to us over and over again on a loop. Which is, they call it the stone tape theory, which is why I think we keep getting the same names over and over and over again. So it's a very interesting space. I kind of lollygag here for just a minute because, again, it's not a space where we can actually ask questions. Before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, hence the name Lodge Alley. So again, we will get terms like Freemason, Mason, and I've gotten the term Illuminati quite a few times in this alley. Now, first off, who the hell is saying the word Illuminati on the radio? Which is what you guys are listening for. Second, why am I only hearing it in this space? I'm not going to go into conspiracy theories with you all because that's a whole nother tour. But I can't explain why I keep hearing the same terms over and over and over again in the same space. The next space we're going to go to is another alley. However, I cannot take you all the way through it like what we're doing now. Why? I've been booted out. You guys joined the annoying group with the blinky lights and the cameras and all that mess. So we're going to be talking about Dueler's Alley, which I'm sure you know that story. I tell the story a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. It is going to be different based on what we're actually looking for in that space. I will tell you how I got booted out of that space once we get down there. However, I tell the story outside of it because it is definitely an active spirit. We will get terms relative to that space for the remainder of our time once we reach the space. So it is a very strong presence that's going on over there. It's a cool story. But again, it's one of those instances where we're going to hear terms from this for the rest of the night. It's a very odd space to be. We're cutting right on the edge of where the tour guide guy is allowed to take you. I hate calling myself a tour guide because we're actually ghost hunting. but I'm still telling you stories and taking you through the city. So I still follow all the laws. When we cut out of this alley, we're going to stop both videos because we don't record in neighborhoods. We're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get over to Philadelphia Alley, just so you guys know. Spirit boxes, continue to listen. Let me know whatever it is you hear. As far as the EMF readings, probably going to get the similar type things of what you're getting right now, based off of buildings, parking meters, that kind of thing. If your device, for some odd reason, gives us a crazy spike, the past 3 nights, it's giving me spikes I don't normally see in here. Just so you guys, normally I'll see like a 4 to 6, or kind of like the mid-range on this one. Again, if you get anything above a 6, I want to know what's going on. But as we exit the alley, we're going to go to the right. What do you have now?
Among Us.
Of course they're among us. They're always among us.
I love that.
Earlier we referred to this as shotgun housing, immediate pow, pow, pow. Yeah.
And they're right at that. So, again, that's an interesting response, I guess, in the right term. Chris, have you heard anything we can say here? So it's something I need to look for, because yours is recording. Okay, so I'm just making a note for me to look for it in this time frame. Got it. And I'll get, you gotta remember, your spirit boxes, the one you're listening to, are slowed down. So what color is the big red barn? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Just forget. We don't need Rudolph the Nosed Reindeer. I just need red. So like if I hear Ben Roethlisberger, I'm gonna take it. We heard of Ben while we were here. We heard Benjamin Franklin. In reference to money, I'm gonna take it. But again, that's the kind of things that I'm looking for. I'm going through all of your data. Because again, we never know what the message is going to be that night. Again, I never know what's going to happen, right, Cynthia? Because it's different every single night. I tell the same stories, but
Right.
I'll tell you what I've gotten in the past. So let's head up to the next alley where I've been kicked out. That's super fun.
Right.
Once we exit the alley. Jillian's going to call me one day because she found something in the evidence, and I'm not going to know who it is.
If somebody calls and nobody speaks, you know.
Yeah. Super asking to listen to the other side. Yeah, I agree.
I'll remember this when I get my voice back.
Both cameras, I want you to inconspicuously shoot the alley behind me. very discreetly. There's going to be other tours passing by. They didn't sign up to be filmed. You did. So again, I'll do my best to stay out of your way. So again, this is a spot where definitely you don't need to keep me in the videos, Cynthia, or a person at that point. We're basically looking for anomalies as we go through. But this is Philadelphia Alley behind me. Again, you're allowed to go through about halfway. It's not fair for my groups of 10 to try to work around 20 to 40 other people from other tours to try to investigate a space. However, we still stir up a lot outside of the space. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, Chris, I'm sorry, this one's going to probably bore you to death because you've heard it a dozen times.
I don't remember that one. This was 20 years ago.
Okay. I'm surprised you don't remember it. This is like a staple for Charleston. So, anyway, here's what happened down here. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because his fiancée Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's money. So he tells her to get rid of the doctor. To prove that he's not just after her cash, he comes to Charleston. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start to the doctor's stay in Charleston. Somebody walking by with the name Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop there because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. R.I. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. So R.I. has shown up for me in the past quite a bit, but I just gave you the two main characters. We need a secondary clue, so we need to know who the hell it belongs to. It's the same thing with all of the Charleses we talked about earlier. Ralph says, dude, you don't want to stay here. He didn't say dude because this is the late 1700s. He says, you don't want to stay here? There's a gunman inside. He's going to try to take all your money. I got some friends at 59 Church Street where you can stay, rent a room, and you'll be safe. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, just keep me
Just
posted.
telling you.
All right, yeah, absolutely.
It's gone.
Yeah, right? You could stay at 59 Church Street, rent a room, and you'll be good to go. The doctor takes him up on the offer. The two become friends. The doctor's practice starts to take off. He becomes, he's making his own money now, and I'm sorry, I heard a chuckle like you actually saw something. I'm like,
My sister just sent me an emoji. Boo.
of course.
I'm just sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry.
It's just when I see, like, I watch
it's
all of your guys'
crazy.
reactions because that's part of what I do. Again, you're
Sorry,
all characters to me, so
I interrupted. I'm sorry.
you're not interrupted at all. The doctor's making his own money now. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Very cliche, but every haunted city you will ever go to has a cliche whistling ghost. Ours is a doctor. Let's just go with it, right? So, him and Ralph go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the way the hierarchy went back then. On their way home from seeing William III from Shakespeare, they start arguing over the new actress. The doctor thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. It gets pretty heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. Obviously, it gets ugly and they go their separate ways, but Ralph is from here. He has friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. It goes back and forth a little bit, but it ends up with, let's just go to Dueler's Alley and let's see if we can just settle this, meaning somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one shot. Who do I kill tonight? Bless you. Jillian, you're already halfway gone. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor, so the doctor doesn't die right away. He drops to the ground, and Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off. The doctor's friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember, he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed it out himself. They say as you walk through this alley, here's the ghost story part of the story, that you can hear the whistles from the doctor. If you happen to go down there with your voice recorders, waiting for those whistles to come through, keep in mind all of the locals know the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street on the other side throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night on my way back to my garage, which is right above the Scotchman. We end there. I have to pass the alley to be able to get to my car. So I do it every single night. Me and my daughter, if she's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw it first. So it's a little fun game we have. They also say you can hear gunshots down there, but I don't have any proof of that. So again, it's very interesting indeed. And by the way, if you're a picture taker for the people that are not locals, this is one of the most picturesque places I believe we have in all of Charleston. I love this alley, even at night. We're looking at it in the middle of the nighttime and it's perfectly lit. So here's where I got booted out. This is the fun part of the story. At the end of this alley is a beautiful mansion. This alley didn't always come all the way through to this Cumberland side. It actually was cut off. So The bricks on the other side are older. Noisy truck. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. We have a full handprint and fingerprint swipes at the end of those, and I would at least point them out when I was the newbie on the block, not knowing where I was and wasn't allowed to go. And I decided, make sure you guys don't stop here and put an EMF or anything like that near it, because we're kind of cutting through a neighborhood. Everybody wants to put an EMF or a spirit box or something there, but I'm here to tell you that that kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. On November 26th of 2020, my whole group decided they're going to stop outside and see what goes on with this brick. Well, it's outside that gentleman's dining room window. He was not very happy with me. He came out screaming. My daughter was on the tour. She thought it was great. The dad was getting yelled at. So, November 27th was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour. November 28th, I got a phone call from the tourism office basically asking me to go down halfway, like what we're allowed to go, or reroute my tour. So I'm like, I'm the new guy on the block. I'll follow the rules. I decided to reroute. My tickets were much cheaper back then, so I decided I was going to tell my team, we're just going to reroute and see what happens. We're going to wing it. We're going to see what goes on at the next base. I didn't even believe in the next story. I didn't tell them what we were going to be discussing either. Along the way, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were about to discuss female pirate Anne Bonny. Again, I'm not a pirates person. I'm a vampire guy through and through. When we get there and I tell what I did know about Anne Bonny, somebody hears the number 300. I have no idea what the hell the number 300 is, so I have to research it the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her trial. I go back there every single night, and it is a hit or miss. Some nights we get tons of activity. Other nights, nil, nothing, absolutely nothing. Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. So when we are there for the last 15-20 minutes of our time being spent together, we're rolling the dice to see if she's actually going to be there. Again, very interesting space indeed. If nothing else, it is a fantastic story because since I've had that experience, I have read probably 15 books on piracy alone, watched a crap ton of documentaries, and I'm now even playing video games with pirate stories in them so I can learn more. So again, it is crazy. I got my daughter involved with the damn games now too. So with that said, we're going to go up and around the corner to St. Philip's. Do we have any other terms that show up on the word list, Miss Ann? Do we have any?
Really.
Nothing? I will tell you with the spirit boxes that are listening to, so Evan and Chris, I've even heard songs with whistling in them as I'm telling the story. So for example, the Guns N' Roses song Patience is usually a lot of whistling. If you know that song, or that Maroon 5 song with all the whistling, I've had that come up here before too. Again, I can't make this stuff up. We're not walking all the way through it, so they've got to find another way to communicate, which is perfectly fine. But we will get terms wrapped around the whistling doctor story through the rest of the night. So, video cameras, if you want to continue, by all means do so. The rest of the tour is ours to be able to free roam a little bit. We're not going to be cutting through neighborhoods. But yeah, let's go up around the corner. Spirit boxes, let me know what you guys hear. EMFs, you're still coming out. Yes, you guys paid me to go to work, and I'm going to give you a break because I'm a great employer. So, with that said, the courtyard across the way, you can see the wall in the background. That's the Walter Philadelphia alley that we just discussed. There's a gate right in the middle of it. That gate was the shortcut to get to the cemetery behind me. The alley didn't go all the way through. Otherwise, you have to carry the dead body, the loser of the duel, all the way up to Queen Street and back down around. So it was a shortcut. I call it the death gate. It does have a wrought iron gate on it now, and it always stays locked. But I don't think a whole lot of people know why that's actually there. I find it very interesting just because of the way the layout of the land, basically. So let's have a seat. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on in this corner. And it's taken me all night long to figure out what the heck that is on your shirt, and that's the Buc-ee's logo. Is that not? Okay. I think we have a Buc-ee's coming into town, don't we?
Seems vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
I think I saw something.
I think we do have a Buc-ee's coming in. Maybe. These are pirates, I doubt it. So, that's definitely, like I said, I've been watching that the entire time we've been here, and I haven't seen it go off yet. Yeah. This first time, so that's definitely a 15 milligrams.
Yeah, mine's been 0 this whole time. But it's definitely probably
But your
tough.
REM pod is always activated, just so you know. So ask for specific colors. Let's spread out. Let's have some fun. I'm going to follow up with Miss Ann first because I want to see that word list in its entirety. if anybody else wants to see it, by all means, you can hang out if you want to, but we're going to spread out around here. I'm going to take the phone.
I wonder if
done?
Let's do it.
Gonna work myth. I was telling you about the Black Bear Gold. That's
People
pretty
wander
nuts.
around.
Let's go this way.
Should go over by the wall.
When I don't know the names, I gotta dive in.
guys. I mean, it's not what I expected, but yeah, I expected we were going to go through grapes and different things.
It's all about the history.
And I like interviews because I'm not from here. We're just visiting. We just came today.
Well, the age
graduates,
groups
so-
that I get from 6 to 106.
Yeah,
So I have
yeah.
to
No,
keep the kids with ties
this
and
is
teeth.
fun.
And obviously, birthday girls have to have fun, so
Oh,
they have to get whatever
absolutely.
they want. As far as
Exactly.
whatever
That's right. It's my birthday.
I love history though. So this is good.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
Without the history,
this is
the evidence
fun.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So that camera likes to act up in here. Just letting you know, it will come up with like weird little wavy things that'll come through. It's made other devices stop working. Like if you're filming them for too long, like it's the weirdest thing. I've seen it probably half a dozen times in this space. Just such a weird thing. And I actually upgraded to that camera, like that version of the FLIR camera, because I thought it was the old version of it, and then I had it again like a week that I got into that thing. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I got a hold of FLIR, asked them about the software, showed them the footage I had. They were like, yeah, that's not us. If you're ghost hunting, that's definitely not us. I'm like, okay. So, again, I always reach out because I need to know for certain. Is it a software issue? Is it a hardware issue? But, again, things weird have occurred here.
I'm looking at. I'm looking at that over there. I don't know if that's anything.
So that's a shadow from the tree.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So the shadow is going to be a little cooler. This thing is pretty sensitive, as I'm sure you've caught on to.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you can see that there were cars all over here.
Yeah. Yeah. So weird.
I love how Carol's like super into the lasers. She's just
I know.
Love it.
just that specific staying alive, just that last little bit twice. I haven't heard many numbers, and that one's real clear.
If you want to go over to the other cemetery, you can. Again, just stay with
the ones
somebody,
that
stay out of the way
happen
because of the doors. So, if you want to look up someone to call you, very
See, and I haven't gotten any numbers. It's just
Chris, let's go to the cemetery.
What?
Let's go to the cemetery.
Go to the center?
Cemetery.
Oh, yeah, let's go to the cemetery.
Couldn't be any more clear than that.
Can we go across here?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you mean over
To
here
the-
or
yeah,
to the right?
cemetery. Can you see we can go in here? Inside? How do we get inside?
I don't think, no, the gates are closed. You can go up here and look in.
If I get up on your shoulders and then I get...
Some pleasant woman arrested at cemetery on her birthday. What a sad. Wow, those are some old stones. So you can never get in here, or just at night?
Oh, just at night. Ours just closed down too because of...
We'll have to come back. Ian and I are going to go to Charleston here and Paris. Come back and trace our tracks.
Got nothing. What's that? A new burial? They're fixing it up.
Yeah. I mean, how many people really walk around the city at night? It's kind of cool. Yeah. I think we took a good picture because the lighting, this lighting here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you see
I
any
hear
warm
whistling.
bodies? You said to take a friend.
I hear whistling. What?
Oh, are you listening? Yeah.
Hey, I can whistle in your ear and it'll make you go deaf. Someone heard you.
character.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really into it.
It'd be interesting to see what he researches.
So don't worry about it. Plus, I'm not going to eat all of that cake. I promise.
Oh. Just get that back.
Crazy.
It says don't go here alone.
It says that?
No, he said not, don't come here alone. No, my cruise have not been that great. A few of them.
Wait, wait, come here. Is that something? No, it's the top of that one. Right?
That one's kind of cool with the head on the top there. Yeah.
But it's cold. That one over there. Let me get a better angle. God, I don't want to drop it. Can you imagine? Chris, can you climb over there?
Is that like a girl's head?
Where?
Oh no, it looks like it's something draped over an urn. It does look like a head. I can totally see it. Yeah, but kind of contemporary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It obviously didn't fit with the period.
See, now it's not there. Maybe it was just a shadow.
Did
Got
you
it.
ever use that spongy thing, that Mr. Clean thing, Barbara, on that pocketbook?
I did, and it scuffed it even a little bit more, but then I used something else.
I think you should use some kind of a polish or a wax or something
Yeah,
to
I
use
took
with
out-
leather
yeah.
to saturate it.
I took out mink oil.
Yeah.
Take some pictures. Oh, sorry.
Oh, throat.
Did it say throat? Yes.
Now I want to
Really?
see
Did
something. I
someone
want to.
describe you on there? No, he scared me.
Oh. He's taking pictures like I'm not. That's what I've been doing. It's cool at nighttime.
This camera takes ridiculously good pictures at night.
Is it the 12?
God, okay, something bit my right hand. Now it itches.
Oh, really? So now
Yeah,
I'm okay now.
I got bit in the
My
ankle
right
several
palm,
times.
like
Oh,
right.
well, why didn't you change to? Oh, you wore the jeans that come up.
I know.
I went and got my jeans that came down.
Puddle jumpers, capris. What are they called?
I don't know, but my husband hates them, and I love them.
Why does he hate
He
them?
thinks
They're the
women are
greatest.
terrible.
Glenn doesn't like my ripped jeans either, so
Oh, come on.
I don't wear them around.
Just how
I wear them when they go away.
I like. I don't have any ripped jeans actually. Oh, there's some. It feels really cool right here.
Well, there's a breeze.
I know. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to satisfy my incurable curiosity. did look like a woman's head. You can see where you can see that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to come back. Well, no, so I don't think the ground's going on. No. So we'll do something tomorrow. Yeah.
I was gonna go over there.
Yeah, I was just over there.
Nicholas was asking us to go meet up over there.
Thanks for telling me.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate it.
The rest of your group sent me to go fetch you.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, come on. McDonough. Chris, come on.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm not getting anything. I got Heavenly Father, Death, and Jesus on the.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
You
I
should
know.
tell them.
That was all over here. I haven't told it yet.
We're late. Sorry.
Sorry.
So the 5.5, I'm gonna put an axe to that, just so you know, Victoria. Just because.
It went all the way to red water.
Do you have any names that popped up? I'm wondering
Just
if
daughter.
William came through on another one. That would be very interesting. Oh, by the way, you wanted to see the new SB11. That's how big and chunky it